Well, good morning. We're on a property here just south of Dalby, and here today talking with Geoff Rudd, Senior Agronomist for Dalby Real Supplies. Geoff, tell us a little bit about what takes up most of your time during the day.
Well, we're very busy at the moment. Coming into the autumn period, we have defoliation, cotton defoliation at the moment. Our mung bean crop, beautiful mung bean crop behind us here, they're a December plant, and very happy with these. I had pre-plant irrigation and a good fall of rain, around about 100 mils of rain on them, so very happy with them. Yeah, pretty busy at the moment, just getting around now to preparing for our winter crop.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a bit on, always a lot on.
What's some of the challenges you face here from an agronomic perspective?
Oh, the timeliness of rain.
Yeah.
Mainly, I mean, from a dryland point of view, and of course we've got the challenges of irrigation water in the area, with all the bore irrigators are losing allocation, but that's how it is, and we are becoming more efficient with our irrigation. There's certainly a lot more laterals and pivots and whatnot, yeah. And soil wise, well, we've always an ongoing challenge, the soil fertility.
How would you describe your soils in the Dalby region? What have you got here?
Well, we've got the black earths and the black and grey Waco clay, the grey Waco clays mainly, predominantly. High moisture holding capacity. You know, our sorghum, for example, our cotton and our sorghum can pull moisture from almost 2 metres in this soil type behind us here. Yep. Beautiful soil, doesn't come much better than this from a dryland point of view. Yep. And irrigation wise, well, good water holding capacity. Yeah. But the challenge is getting the moisture into the soil, and an AgSolutions product, the Cal-S, it's certainly been beneficial for a number of my clients. Yeah.
You mentioned the Natchman Cal-S. A few months back, we did a joint field day on a couple of your clients' places west of Dalby, looking at some of the some varying soil types there, some lighter soils and some of your darker soils. Talk to us a little bit about the work you've been doing with AgSolutions at Arrow Energy there from a soils point of view.
At Arrow, they did buy some very, very challenging country. We call it box country in this part of the world. It's a grey clay. It's quite a sodic soil. It's surface sealing, hard soil to wet, and we found that Billy Schloss, the manager, was very keen on improving the soil water infiltration and whatnot. So, rather than go down the line of the gypsum line, the soil amelioration of the gypsum, we sort of took the alternative Cal-S, because gypsum's A, hard to get, B, quite expensive, and even the reconstituted gypsum is pretty unavailable to get nowadays. So we went down the Cal-S line and sort of 2 applications, 400 kilos and 400 kilos, we found that the soil softened up, water infiltration certainly improved, in combination with good zero till type, or minimum till I should say, and conservation of the stubble on the surface. Have turned a lot of country around, made it a lot more user friendly as far as seed bed preparation, and even the ability of the seeds to get away. I think Cal-S has had a very beneficial use for us there.
That was a really interesting thing I noticed there on a couple of visits to that place, was that improvement in germination, those plants coming out of the ground.
Yeah, plant stands. I worked on that country long before Bill, as an agronomist, long before Bill turned along, and we struggled. It's surface, the surface used to just seal over, and you couldn't get moisture in it, and you couldn't get, and it seems to set hard even further down, and the seeds, well, cotton in particular, can't force its way out. I don't know why it's specifically like that. It's obviously something to do with the structure in the soil, but it improved, yeah.
Germination is dollars, isn't it?
Good plant stands half the battle. Yeah.
And one of the things I found, and we had about 30 growers there that day, and I find it's intriguing when you take growers to another property where you've actually achieved an improvement in soil structure. If they haven't been there and seen what it was like before, I guess it's hard to portray where the improvement's been, isn't it?
Oh yeah, well, I've been around for a while. I've seen it bad and I've seen it better. Yeah.
After that place, we went over to another one of your clients there, the Gosden's Farming, which is where a cotton, and they grow some other cereals and that too. We've seen some different things there too, haven't we? Talk to us a little bit about what you've achieved at Gosden's.
Yeah, well, with the addition of Calais, setting the fields up a little bit better, levelling the fields a bit better. From the previous owner on this particular trial paddock that we had the trial, had that field day in, we definitely lifted the yield by 2 to 3 bales per hectare with the addition of the Calais and better farming practice. I think that particular paddock is a good trial. It's a particularly tight soil, and I still think we've got to use pretty harsh cultivation, deep ripping. I think we'll continue to work with it. Maybe another application of Calais this year again, in combination with manure, and that's where Calais is good. Gypsum, you're putting on 2 and 3 tonne, 5 tonne per hectare. Calais, we've been putting on with your recommendations 400, 350, 400 per application, 2 applications at least. See, a lot of these farmers here, and why it suits us around here in a way, are these guys that are using the manure, and a lot of feedlot manure gets used on the downs in our area. We're surrounded by feedlots, so Calais fits in good. And this farm we're on here, they use compost that is the product of cotton trash, and beautiful product. The nutrition here is just second to none. It's great. You can nearly eat the soil, but what you can do with your compost or your manure, you come along and you just you can mix it, then you spread it. One operation. It's a little bit easier. It's not with the compost. And you can mix it with a front end loader quite easily. I think it's accurate enough. Yeah, so that's basically what happens. That's what happens on this farm here a lot. Yeah.
More on the Gosden story, we saw a yield improvement, and we saw, I guess, one of the things Matt explained to me was that improvement in water infiltration. When we took that soil to Brisbane to the University of Queensland at St Lucia, and we conducted some trials there, they measured a 13% increase in plant available water capacity. So that was really interesting to go down and back that up in trials in the laboratory. So that's been really good. And obviously measuring the yield response there, that's what your clients want, isn't it too? So I guess it's watch this space and we continue. Yeah, I think you touched on a really good point there. It's part of a program, and that's I guess what AgSolutions is about, and what our products are about is I guess we're not about products, we're about a program. So it's AgSolutions working with you. You've got the knowledge, you know the clients, you know the issues, and if where the product fits, then it's got a good role to play.
It's all an integrated thing, farming, and soil nutrition and soil management and water management in that soil is one of the secrets to good farming practice.
So Geoff, I guess no 2 years are the same from a seasonal point of view, and there's times when we wish we could make it rain, but obviously you've seen a lot of changes in the farming and the agriculture industries around Dalby. What sort of where are your clients at? What's the atmosphere? What's the impact on your growers in today's farming world and economy and things like that?
Well, I think we're an enormously positive group of people and a group of farmers in this area. I mean, you hear, the average age of the farmer is something like 69 years of age or something like that. I don't know, but it's old. But around here we have 3 generations on farm properties, and up to 3 generations actually working on the properties. And I think we've got more family members, young family members coming home here, which I think signifies the fact that we're profitable.
Yes.
So we're not doing everything wrong, and our farmers are so progressive. I mean, the cotton industry is a classic. It's very, very progressive, and the young fellas that I work with just leave me behind now. The technology and the availability of technology with the modern world is phenomenal, and they can pick it up.
I read a report recently that says that young farming generation, they're hungry for information and they want it now. And I guess, you know, we've got the use of iPhones and iPads and GPS controlled tractors, all these sorts of things. So, you know, there's some massive changes that have happened very quickly in the past few years.
One of the massive improvements to the farming system is our planting technology. I mean, back when I started a long time ago, with cotton in particular, the double disc opener planters were just coming in. Prior to that, there was the old tine planter, and lots of other things have changed too. But I think that the advent of the planting technology has made an enormous amount of difference to our success. But you know, it's so progressive. I mean, from the advent of glyphosate, farming technology's just improved out of sight, and our success has improved out of sight. I mean, our yield improvements are phenomenal. Classic example, these mung beans here, you know, the progression of varieties now is one about every 2 years, new varieties coming through, and they're picking up yield, they're picking up resistance to the diseases and whatnot. And when I started 25 odd years ago, if you grew a third of a tonne to the acre, you're going pretty well. Now you can grow half a tonne to the acre as an average type crop on an average type season, or a lot better than that. Cotton, 3.5 bales to the acre, 7-8 bales to the hectare was a good crop 25 years ago. 4 bales to the acre, 10 bales to the hectare was what we strove for. Now we're looking for 5 bales to the acre, 6 bales to the acre, and we're getting it.
Yeah.
And we're getting it. You know, the genetics in the plants, the technology that's involved, our water management's better. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Where we're going to be in even 10 years' time is exciting.
You spoke a bit about programs and advances in technology and plant breedings, and I guess that sort of makes me think about things like partnerships, and ultimately it is a partnership. It's a partnership between yourself and your clients as growers. They rely on you for information, and you rely on companies like AgSolutions and your seed and fertiliser and chemical companies, so I guess to be there with you for support and development. And I guess that's prompted us to do trial work, because you need that confidence in the products you work with your clients, don't you, to sort of I guess understand products and see where they fit, so that you know you're doing the right thing by your clients.
Absolutely, AgSolutions doing a great job. I mean, this work you're about to release from UQ studies, great stuff. But you know, it's got to be sold to us, because I've got to sell it to my clients. And it's got to stack up scientifically. I mean, just to say, oh, it works, you've got to prove that it works.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you this morning, Geoff, and spend a few minutes with Geoff Rudd. You're a wealth of information, and I know you're well respected by your clients.